So I'm once again picking up this book because it just has so many gems in it. And today I want to talk about the fifth chapter, the fifth principle. I'm not sure which it is, but it's titled The Secret of Socrates. And if you don't know about Socrates, you should probably do some research on him because he's one of the most fantastic minds who ever lived. But you need to understand what Socrates was all about before I preface this. So I'll just say, he was all about the why. He was all about the deeper meaning. He would never have a preconceived notion about anything, but he would always question. And this is what led him to be the smartest man who ever lived, pretty much. But I digress, and it's on to how can we utilize one of his tactics. And one of his tactics was getting someone to admit that a baseline level of their argument, they are wrong. If you can start to break apart the argument piece by piece by piece, it's much easier to do than, see the whole thing and try to destroy the whole thing. It's always that thing of you've heard the crazy conspiracy theories, and the easiest way to destroy a conspiracy theory is you ask the person, well, how many people you think would be on board for this thing? And then they'd be like, maybe a few hundred, maybe a few thousand, and you're like, well, think about it. You think the janitor cares if, that secret is just hidden? Or do you think he wants to tell his friends, yo, I'm in on this secret project, and think of all those other people that have to keep their mouth shut and be quiet. And it's then you start to destroy the argument, and then you destroy it on a fundamental level, and now you can start building, and now you can start building, and now you can start doing this, and now you can start doing that. And if you can break arguments into pieces, this is the greatest thing you can do. When you can get someone to admit that a piece of what they're saying is incorrect, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, that is a masterful way to undermine their entire argument. I'm not saying that you're going to get them to change their mind, but you might get them to give a little ground. You might get them to make some sort of agreement, and this is what we want when we're dealing with people. You don't want an all-out bloodbath. You don't want to completely steamroll a person, because then you're dealing with an angry person. But if you can get them to give some ground, you have masterfully worked your way through life. Because if we can get people to give us a little more than what we're giving, this is the way to make a great negotiation. Think of when you watch Pawn Stars, the person always wants oh, give me $5 extra, and the guy's like, no, and then he'll be like, okay, give me $2 extra, and then the person will be so happy even though he only gave him a little bit more. And it's just everyone wants to feel like they're getting the better end of the deal, and everyone wants to feel like they have a little bit of edge. But we need to understand that when we're accepting a bargain, when we're accepting some sort of agreement, if we can get them to give a little ground themselves, they don't even realize that their original argument is completely different now. And it's all through this method. It's all through getting them to say yes, getting them to give some ground, ask them a question on a fundamental level that destroys their argument. I'm not saying to straw man the argument, because I don't believe in straw manning, but if you can somehow pick the argument apart, you are on a great path to getting what you want out of this conversation, to getting what you want out of this individual. And it all starts with thinking, understanding the why, understanding the deeper mechanisms, and breaking things down into a way that you can easily observe them, and you can easily show the other person why you believe this thing. And the great thing about this is there's always concessions in every argument. Think of any single political opinion. There's always concessions. You go to the most staunch conservative and you ask them about abortion, 95% of them are going to make an exception for life of the mother, incest, and another terrible thing. But I was about to say it, but then this video is going to get nuked. And then you go to the other side and you're like, well, what do you think about third trimester? And most people are going to say, well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I would rather, there be another thing that happens. And it's we can always get these sort of concessions no matter what we're doing. Nobody is so staunch, nobody is so adamant in their opinions that they are not willing to give ground. And this is where we need to start taking advantage. This is where we need to start working our way in and weaving our way in, and allow the person to see that they're being stubborn, that they're not correct in the argument, that they're not making a strong and convincing point, because you can pick holes in it. And it's something that I'm really against arguing. I'm really against, oh, this is my opinion, this is why I'm right, this, all this study said this. I think that shit's stupid. But if you can break things down on a fundamental level and start opening people's minds to a different perspective, to a different belief, and then they grow as an individual because of that. I think that's worthwhile. So start taking these things from Socrates. Start taking these things from this book. Like, this is why I will forever suggest this book. Like, I'm not saying this is one of my favorite books. Like, I truly, it's not that I don't like it, but it doesn't inspire me. Like, I read this and I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but it's not like when I'm reading some like occult religious text, or I'm reading Neville Goddard, or I'm reading, like old history. Like, it doesn't inspire me. I'm not passionate about it, and that's why I don't pick up this book that often and bring you guys stuff. But the things I do bring are so valuable. Like, you need to pick up this book. This very well might be the greatest self-improvement book that has ever existed. It very well might be the difference between you making $1 million and you making $1 billion, because the way you deal with people is the way you will deal with life. If you're good with people, you'll be good with life. If you're not good with people, well, let's face it, you're not going to be good at life. And it's a simple decision. Like, do you want to pick up this book and read the 240 pages, or do you want to sit on your ass and ask yourself, why am I not where I want to be? And it's really you. The decision's on you. Are you going to take yourself serious, or are you going to sit in the same spot that you are in right now? Are you going to continue to blame someone else? Are you going to continue to say, life isn't fair, woe is me, this, that, why can't I have the girl of my dreams? Why can't I have this? Why can't I have that? And it's just like, pick up this book. I promise you, this is the fundamental building block. Study this book like it's the Bible. Study this book like it's a work of art, like it's a manual for life, because it is a manual for life. And I promise you, you will have no complaints and you will have no more concerns. Just put in the time with this book, put in the time with other books I suggest, put in the time with whatever book you can find. But knowledge is the key. Knowledge is the path out. And if you can start with communication, if you can some way educate yourself and then be able to articulate it to other people and do it in a manner where people aren't offended, where people listen to you, you're going to make it. I'll leave a link to this book in the description. On top of that, I have a Discord. Go ahead and join that. And I'm starting a community soon. I don't know what it is. I'm procrastinating doing it. I don't exactly know why, but I think I want to iron out the details in my head and then maybe come up with a plan. But once I do all those things, that should be there. And my goal of that is to basically break down books that I read, break down thoughts or ideologies or things that I really think are important, and put it in a way that you can read it quick. Because I have hundreds of books on my desk right now, maybe 100 books, I don't know. But I also have like hundreds of books at home, and I just fly through them. And I really think there's only a few key ideas that I pull from each book. But if I could put those few key ideas, you don't have to read hundreds of pages. You don't have to read thousands of pages. And if I can make it easy for people to get on the pursuit of knowledge, that's what I'm going to do, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to inspire people to educate themselves and to fix themselves. And it all starts with self. If you want to make the world a better place, it starts with you. Thank you so much. Peace out.